Wind corridor. The Mobius continues trekking along the mountains. If you look out the window in the early morning, the mountains are a sight to behold. But none of you are in the mood to admire the scenery. Still no signal. Mary sighed, shaking his phone vigorously. What should have been a high-tech product of the modern age is now an iron cascade that can be silently seen anywhere in the old days. The signal comes and goes, so the big data lab isn't going to work. The communication signal is no good either. I called Vincent and the call dropped not even a second later. I also tried several times, but the call doesn't connect, even with the signal. Artem shakes his head calmly. Me as well. Dr. Rishta? Regrettably. Vin takes off his glasses, frowning. The Myson Mountains contain the largest mine vein in Bakerlon. The wind will cause magnetic interference and may even form a magnetic shield that covers the area. That's the situation we're in right now. So we at least have to wait for the train to clear the mountains before we get a signal. But the train runs along the Myson Mountains. Doesn't that mean we probably won't get any signal for a long time? I swear, before I go to another barren countryside again, I'll have Backstack Development Department develop a mobile communication tower for me in case I ever need it. Yeah, that seems very important. With Marius going off on a tangent, the tense atmosphere eases quickly. So looks like we'll have to continue the investigation on our own for now without contact with the outside world, right? Yeah. As for the first step of the investigation, why don't we take Mr. Wing's suggestion and talk to that person? You mouthed the name William Lewis. Yeah, yes, let's go now. Hopefully he won't let us down. The dining carriage is still the most popular place for people to eat, gather, and gossip. The difference is that one corner has been cordoned off as a reminder of what happened here. Even if they don't think about it, people consciously avoid that corner and sit far away from it. Dining car. Huh? Mr. Lewis is talking to Amy? The dining carriage isn't too crowded, and a quick glance reveals where William Lewis is. He is talking with Amy at the table by the window. You look upset, buddy. Would you like some legal advice from me? I can give you a discount. Well, I don't think I have a legal problem. Not a legal problem, so it's an emotional problem. That's all the same. I can offer a consultation. Amy scratches his head in embarrassment. Mr. Lewis, please excuse me. I see my friends. At that moment, he seems to see you guys and says something to William Lewis before heading over. Everyone, are you guys here to eat? Why don't we eat together? No, actually, you are going to say that you're here to see William Lewis. But you notice William Lewis peering curiously over here, which gives you an idea. Instead of reaching out to William Lewis, maybe it would be better for him to take the initiative. You shake Amy's hand politely. Sure, let's find a place to eat and chat. Since it isn't actually mealtime, everyone finds a place to sit and orders some snacks and beverages. After everyone is done with the snacks, the chat begins. Dining car. Emmy, what were you talking about with Mr. Lewis? I heard you were upset or something. Oh, that attorney was mistaken. Emmy drinks a sip of coffee, his troubled expression looking even heavier as he looks down and sighs. He thought I was lying because of personal problems. In reality, I'm a bit worried about Dr. Ronson. As he speaks, a head pops up nearby from behind a chair with a high back. It's easy to guess from the haircut that it's that attorney from Bulb. Is he afraid that we're stealing his business? You wink at Artem, hinting at William Lewis' position. Artem sits upright, assuming the posture of an attorney about to take on a new client. It seems the others realize it as well, since they also follow suit. What happened to Dr. Ronson? Hard to say. Ever since Mr. Khan's death, he had something on his mind. This morning, I found a problem when I was sorting out the data report, so I wanted to confirm with him. And he uncharacteristically kicked me out, saying that I can't take care of trivial matters myself. It's very odd. Did he not do that before? No, Dr. Rosen is a cautious man and very responsible when it comes to his research. He would never say something like that. So that's why I'm worried if he was affected by what happened to Mr. Khan. Vin hooks the side of the cup with his pinky finger, scrutinizing Emmy with his stare. Affected? What makes you see that? Emmy bites his lip worriedly. After all, Mr. Khan was the executive director of the Khan Corporation and a supporter of our research project. With his passing, our project will no doubt be affected, especially when it comes to funding. At this point, he quivers and looks at everyone warily. Sorry, this topic shouldn't be disclosed. We understand that the project involves company secrets, so we won't pry. Rather, I am more curious about you and Mr. Khan. Me? What about me? That day in the dining carriage, did you notice anything off about Mr. Khan? Or something you felt was odd? Yes. Don't worry, we're not asking because we suspect you. We just want to gather more information before we get in contact with the police so as to aid their investigation. Emmy frowns and thinks hard for a while. Actually, I didn't bump into Mr. Khan that day. I was holding a wine glass and was on my way to find Dr. Ronson. Mr. Khan stumbled and bumped into me. He reeked of alcohol as if he had been drinking a lot. So you only spilled wine on him because he bumped into you? Yes. Emmy nods quickly as if he's pleased that his innocence had been confirmed. Are you certain Mr. Khan had too much to drink? I'm sure. Mr. Khan kept holding on to me and talking nonsense, almost like he was drunk. Nonsense? Yeah, he said that I dirtied his clothes with yellow and green stains. In any case, he seemed to be drunk. It's strange though, at the time the party had just started and people don't usually drink that much at that point. Well, I don't know about that. I heard from Dr. Ronson that Mr. Khan didn't usually drink a lot, so I don't know what happened that day. Vin doesn't respond to Emmy this time. He puts his finger to his chin, thinking about something. During the silence, Amy glances at his watch, then looks anxiously at everyone. Sorry, I've stayed too long. I still have a lot of data to start, Joe, and Dr. Ronson will scold me if he finds out. No worries. Dr. Richter, what's on your mind? Did you discover something? As soon as Amy left, you asked Vin in a low voice, not caring that William Lewis is still watching from nearby. According to Amy, Mark was in a state of confusion and saw yellow and green. That may prove my conjecture. At the time, he thought Will was not drunk, or rather, not entirely. Was it drugs? Can you speculate on the drug? Yes, the toxicity causes dizziness, hallucinations, and chloropsia. Chloropsia? Simply put, everything you see is yellow or green, like when Mark thought the right wineskins were yellow. Yeah, however, that is only a speculation. The best way to know for sure is to examine Mark's body. Use your device to run a blood analysis and see if you can detect any suspicious drugs. I have a question. He's been dead for so long. Can drugs still be detected in his system? It is difficult, but with his skills, he should be able to, right? Vin looks at Luke. For some reason, it feels more like provocation rather than trust. Hard to say, but it's worth a try. Luke isn't about to back down. Now it seems that reaching out to kind cooperation and requesting to examine Mark's body will be the biggest breakthrough in the investigation. As for how that breakthrough will come about, just as everyone expected. Perfect timing. He couldn't resist coming over. Artem signals to everyone else as William Lewis walks over. Dining car. Hey, what did you guys say to that kid? Something about Mr. Khan and red wine. What do you people from Themis have up on your sleeve again? With one hand on his hip, William Lewis stares angrily. Nothing. We were briefly going over some details of his altercation with Mr. Khan in the dining carriage. Why are you going to represent him? What? Do you also think Mr. Khan went overboard? Nonsense. I said nothing of the sort. I just... Fine, I admit, Mr. Khan was a bit impulsive. But Mr. Khan is already gone. What's the use in saying that now? That kid's got nothing wrong with him. What do you hope to gain by representing him? Maybe we are investigating Mr. Khan's death? You put your palm to your forehead as William Lewis gets further and further away from the truth. Huh? It seems the thought never crossed his mind. I think we overestimated him. Autumn nods unexpectedly, agreeing with what Marius said. Hey, why are you guys being deliberately ambiguous? If you got something to say, just say it. William Lewis is stunned, but that shame quickly turns to anger. The thing is, we believe there are suspicious circumstances surrounding Mr. Khan's death. According to our investigation and conjecture, after hearing Lewis briefly explain your theories about Mr. Khan's cause of death, William Lewis falls silent. Yes. This is the first time he had shown a silent and slightly anxious expression. So you want me to speak on your behalf to allow you guys to assist in the examination of Mr. Khan's body? Yes. Why should I help? Don't forget, we're competitors. Because you're also an attorney. You expected Artem to list the reasons he told everyone to convince William Lewis. Unexpectedly, that is all he sees. An attorney will have the desire to find the truth. An attorney will have the faith to stick to justice. William Lewis pauses, staring silently at Arthur for a long time, then sighs. Fine, come with me. But I can't promise the people from Khan Corporation will agree. Luxury suite. Following William Lewis into the luxury carriage, there are several people standing within. A dispute can be heard clearly since the outer and inner rooms are not separated. You really didn't do this? Oh my god, would you please shut up? This is already a mess. Knock it off. Can't everyone just talk it out? But with Mr. Khan's death, you're the biggest beneficiary now. Can you shut your mouth? Dennis, don't make me repeat myself. In any case, my suggestion is to keep Mr. Khan's death a secret for now and try to calm the passengers. Otherwise, who knows what nasty rumors might arise? How would Khan Corporation continue its operation then? Dr. Ronson, what do you think? Dr. Ronson is here as well. No wonder he kicked Amy out. He came here for a meeting. Well, my only concern is about Hill. Realizing that there are people outside, the voice stops in the middle of the sentence. Then, led by the family doctor, Yan Khan, who is looking cautiously at everyone, the people in the inner room walk out one after another. Mr. Lewis, you guys... Oh, they're also from Sally's. William Lewis seems a little reluctant to introduce you and the others. However, Young interrupts the introduction with a raised hand. Yes, we met briefly in the dining carriage. If I remember, Mr. Wing and Miss Sherrera are Miss Schneider's legal counsel, correct? Yes. Artem nods calmly. What is Miss Schneider's legal counsel doing here? Are you here to mock us? Artem doesn't speak for a moment, frowning and looking a little hesitant. Oh no, the original plan was to talk to them about the investigation into Mr. Khan's death. But just now, these people were saying they didn't want a public investigation. Mr. Wing's plan might not come to fruition. Judging by Mr. Wing's expression, he must be in a dilemma. What should we do? Before you can think of something, William Lewis has already opened his trap. Mr. Wing, why aren't you talking? Didn't you come here to help investigate Mr. Khan's cause of death? The room is silent after William Lewis speaks. The people from the Khan Corporation stare at him in disbelief as if he has said something unreasonable and unthinkable. This. Among the few people in the room, Dennis, who had brief interactions with you and the others, looks upset and hesitant. Oh, what's wrong? Mr. Lewis, being direct isn't always a good thing. You regret not coming up with an excuse to leave after hearing their intentions to delay the investigation into Mr. Khan's death. Everyone has the same gloomy and uncertain look on their faces, so they are probably thinking the same thing. Yan Khan walks past William Lewis and stopped in front of you all. Friends who have come from afar, I am very grateful for your kindness. But I am sorry, I cannot accept your help. As suspected. You expected such a response, and it stands to reason that Yan Khan would decline. Well, sorry, I'm the type of person that likes to get to the root of the matter. Can you give us a reason? Huh? Let him test him. Let him test them. Vin whispers reassuringly into your ear. At the same time, Artem walks forward. Naturally, Mr. Khan's death will have an impact on this train. But at the end of the day, you'll incur heavier losses if you don't figure out what happened. Yan Khan's expression stiffens, which is followed by an awkward cough. I don't have the authority to make decisions without being able to contact the company. I'm just a regular family doctor. It's a matter of urgency. I'm sure your company would like to see this matter resolved, right? Yes, we are desperate to see it resolved. But that's not the same as accepting your cooperation. With all due respect, you are outsiders. Not to mention, these two attorneys are Miss Schneider's legal counsel. For commercial security reasons, we would never, under any circumstances, involve anyone with ties to the Schneider family. Everyone, please understand. By this point, Yan Khan's intention to reject your offer is evident. It would be too deliberate if this continues any further, so you and the others thank William Lewis and leave. That could have gone better. Maybe we got ahead of ourselves. We didn't take into account that they wouldn't want others involved in the investigation, so they can deliberately conceal the matter. Well, not entirely. Didn't we change our strategy when we entered? Yeah. Remembering how well the four of them worked together in a room, you wonder if you missed a detail or something. Eh? When did you guys? When we entered. From their discussion, it was clear that they wanted to delay the matter until the train ride was over. William Lewis gave us an opening and we took it, so it wasn't a wasted trip. So the entourage members do have a tacit understanding of each other. Let's get back on topic. From our conversation just now, it feels like there's something wrong with Young's attitude. Yes, he must be hiding something, which explains why he seems so eager to distance himself from us. And Dr. Ronson also mentioned Hill at the end. That means the people of Khan Corporation know about Hill's existence. Mark also muttered the name Hill, so we can infer that Hill had some influence on Marx and perhaps even the Khan Corporation. Things are getting more complicated now. Now we need to investigate Mark's death as well as what the people of Khan Corporation are hiding. Too bad I can't use the big data lab or else I'd be able to find something. Hey, wait. Isn't there a living embodiment of the big data lab on this train? You mean Miss Schneider? Yes. As a competitor to the Khan Corporation, she should know the most about the family. Perhaps we can learn more about the Khan Corporation from her, from which we can extract clues. That makes sense. Know the enemy and yourself. As a competitor, the woman would be happy to tell us something. Let's find Miss Schneider. Passenger suite. Miss Schneider is sitting on the couch. Upon entering the room, she looks at everyone calmly as she knew of your pending visit. Hey, look who it is. I thought I'd have to wait until the night before you guys thought of me. Miss Schneider, were you waiting for us? Miss Schneider stands up slowly. For a while now. Judging by your heavy expressions, did you guys hit a snag with the corporation? Miss Schneider, it seems you anticipated our arrival. After all, I'm the only one on this train who's had years of experience dealing with the corporation. Isn't it normal for you guys to come to me? Besides, Mr. Wing and Miss Sherera, I paid a considerable amount for legal counsel. If you guys are able to solve this conundrum on the train, well, that'd be fine and dandy for me. It would be greatly appreciated if you would like to help Miss Schneider. No problem, but make it quick. A reporter scheduled afternoon tea with me. Also wait. Did Mr. Khan have major conflicts with anyone in the past? He always struck me as a careful businessman and a smooth talker. He would seldom offend others. Oh, but he didn't seem like a smooth talker with his outbursts in the dining carriage. Yes, I found that quite strange. Mr. Khan had a reputation for having a good temper. I wonder what changed him. You should know, back in the day, he would even greet his enemies with a smile. Mr. Khan had a beef with someone before? Yes, of course. A meaningful smile appears on Sarah Schneider's face. I suffer a lot at his hands. She was referring to herself when she mentioned his enemies. Miss Schneider, you may find this question strange. Mr. Khan mentioned the name Hill before he passed away. Does that name ring a bell? Hill? Yes, if I'm not mistaken. That was the name of a young female scientist in the research lab at Corporation a few years ago. Unfortunately, I think she's missing. Missing? Can you elaborate? Miss Schneider frowns as if recalling some unpleasant memories. A few years ago, she published an article improving the success rate of a T-element extraction. Khan Corporation respected her work and sent many academics to work with her on that project. At that time, I was offering her a large sum of money to work at my company. But one day, for some reason, Khan Corporation suddenly blocked all information related to the project. They claimed that Hill had absconded with important information and her whereabouts were unknown. Absconded? Yes, the Khan Corporation notified the police and they investigated for several months. However, nothing came of the investigation and they concluded that the suspect must have escaped overseas. Even if she left Bakerlon, it wouldn't be hard to track her given today's technology. Who knows? In any case, people gradually forgot about this case. But what about Miss Hill's family? Did they not search for her? As far as I know, she devoted her life to research and didn't have much of a social life. Moreover, she grew up in a single parent household. I heard her father passed away long ago and she was living with her mother. Her mother was in a poor health and required her care. However, after Hill went missing, some good Samaritans tried to get her to a nursing home. It's a pity what happened. I really hope that there would be a breakthrough in the extraction technology of the element. Miss Schneider, what is this the element that you keep mentioning? It is a very important industrial ingredient in Bakerlon. At the very least, it plays an important role in the fields of medical research and artificial micro-intelligent machines. Sounds like it's a rare synthetic material. Something like that. It's not used commonly overseas, but here in Bakerlon, many advanced technologies rely on it. Why is it called T element? Does the letter T have a special meaning? That I'm not sure. This substance was discovered decades ago, maybe even earlier, by a researcher at Khan Corporation. Ever since that, it has been called T element. I personally think it just might be a code name with no special meaning. I haven't heard much about T element in studies, but similar code names have come out in other places. You know that Khan Corporation and my company started out in the mining industry, right? The difference is their family has exclusive rights to the largest Bakerlon ore field in the Myson Mountains starting 100 years ago. The Bakerlon ores with high purity undergo quenching, refining, and processing to produce the synthetic substance known as the elements. The higher the purity, the higher the success rate of extracting the element. Our family has access to ore as well, but our extraction success rate is nowhere near Khan's Corporation's. There are other small competitors in the mining industry, but they all lack stable extraction technology. That means the only company that can reliably extract the element is the Khan Corporation. Yes, Khan Corporation has been making a fortune on this near monopolized technology for years. It makes me jealous. Miss Schneider, pardon me for asking, if the element is critical to Bakelon, then surely Khan Corporation isn't the only company trying to develop better extraction technology. Of course not. However, the best technology and ideas cannot be implemented without raw materials. So Khan Corporation has a monopoly on the entire supply chain of the element. But Hill's research topic was improving the success rate of the element extraction. That seems contradictory. Miss Schneider, I have one more question. You said Khan Corporation has maintained a monopoly on the T element synthetic technology, so wouldn't Hill's research project jeopardize that monopoly? But based on what you said, it seems Khan Corporation was in support of Hill. Of course, there were. Khan Corporation does have a monopoly on the synthetic technology, but that doesn't mean their extraction technology is developed. Even their company has a high loss coefficient when it comes to extracting T elements. There's a limited supply of ore. Once it's gone, it's gone. That would have been aesthetic if Hill figured out a way to improve production. Then why couldn't they expand their resources to find Hill, or at the very least try to convince her to come back? The whole incident feels peculiar. Nothing much happened after news Hill's disappearance. In recent years, Khan Corporation has become much more unpredictable. Sarah pauses for a moment, a scornful expression on her face. I'm still confused about why they are shifting their business to tourism. That's why I need to get on this train and hire a legal team to figure out what kind of stunt they're trying to pull with this train ride. No wonder Miss Schneider invited us to experience this train ride. She presumably hoping we can exploit some legal loophole in Khan Corporation's practices. Well, what else do you want to know? Yes, you are about to ask her about Sheila Hill and the Khan Corporation when suddenly, stop fighting! Calm down. Let's be civilized about this. Ah, Mr. Dennis, what are you doing? Calm down. What's going on? Is someone fighting? What's going on? All that noise. People are so ill-mannered nowadays. Miss Schneider, why don't we go check it out? Sarah does not object, waving her hand to indicate her understanding. Mr. Dennis, what did you do? You killed someone? The moment you and the others step into the dining carriage, you are met with screams. Confusion and panic pervade the eerie atmosphere. What's going on? Mr. Dennis killed someone? Wasn't he in the luxury suite with people from Khan Corporation? What happened? Many people are gathered in the dining carriage. What's going on? Come on, we should check it out. How terrible, how scary. I've never seen anything like this in my career. Why would he do that? Before you and Luke can ask what happened, the reporter seems to see a lifeline grabbing Luke's arm. His expression is that of terror triggered by something. Do you guys know what happened? Mr. Dennis just stabbed Mr. Ernst. And Mr. Ernst just collapsed to the ground and stopped breathing. Mr. Dennis stabbed Mr. Ernst to death? Calm down first. Take it easy. How can I calm down? Another person died and it happened right before my eyes. Are we really cursed? Luke doesn't respond to him, instead helping him to rest on a chair. Then he signals to you with his eyes. He's very unstable right now, so it's better to leave him alone for a while. Let's try asking someone else. Sure. Mr. Wing, look, it's blood. The shape suggests that it's blood splatter. Your gazes follow the blood trail all the way to the table. The exquisite meal had been overturned, with sauces from the food flowing everywhere. It's a sight that many couldn't bear to look at. The tabletop, which had once been carefully set, is thin and messy. This seems to be the primary scene. Looking at the scattered dishes on the table, you nod. But an argument at the dining table. It's hard to imagine Mr. Dennis as the impulsive perpetrator, given his gentle temperament. I shouldn't have signed up for this dream, right? First it was Mr. Khan, then Mr. Ernst. Who will be next? Passing by the bar of the dining carriage, you notice a crew member muttering to himself. Hey buddy, what are you muttering about all by yourself? Hello passengers, I didn't say anything. Relax, we're not going to do anything to you. We just wanted to know what happened. Yeah, can you elaborate on what happened? Yeah, at first Mr. Ernst and Mr. Dennis were sitting at the rope-off table. However, they started arguing out of the blue, and it became very tense. It was scary. I didn't even dare to try to stop them. Later, Mr. Ernst did something that sent Mr. Dennis over the edge. Then, the crew member stopped, not daring to speak anymore. I understand. Thank you for your help. Sure. After the crew member leaves, you can't help but think about what he said. What on earth caused such a serious conflict between them? Not sure. Maybe we can ask if anyone heard their argument. Let's get some more information. Alright. At this moment, Yang Kwan is looking out the window with a serious expression, his mind clearly as well. You. Noticing your stares, Yang Kwan pulls on his doctor's coat stiffly. It's over. It's all over. Were you present? The four of us went to eat at the dining carriage after our conversation with you guys. But for some reason, Danny suddenly got into an argument with us. I wanted to stop them, but suddenly again, how can there be so many sudden incidents? Unless... Did Mr. Dennis lose his temper like Mr. Khan? He falls silent and Finn does not respond to him, instead watching him silently. Perhaps uncomfortable with the silence, Young Khan smoothed his daughter's skirt as if to ease his embarrassment. But for some reason, there are wrinkles in the corners of his skirt that can't be straightened. Yes, I don't know what set him off, but he stabbed Ernst, who was sitting opposite with him, with the dagger he was carrying. I was sitting right there and wasn't in time to stop him. You said there were four of you. Was the other person Dr. Ronson? Yes. He drops his hands helplessly in frustration. I really don't know what happened. I feel like my brain is blank right now. Where is Mr. Dennis now? I saw him run out of here, and I think Susan went after him. Enough with the questions. I want to be alone. Yang Khan looks away, not wanting to talk any further. It's so confusing. Let me sort it out. As it stands, Dennis and Ernst had an argument while eating. Then Dennis stabbed Ernst and ran out of the dining carriage. His whereabouts are unknown. According to witnesses, Dennis' behavior was so unexpected that it caught everyone off guard. The clues at the crime scene suggest that Dennis killed him in one fatal stab. Strange, from our interactions, he did not seem so ruthless. Besides, he never showed any bizarre behavior. Before Marius can finish his sentence, a shrill cry comes from the utility room not far from the dining carriage. Mr. Dennis! Oh my god! Let's go take a look. Self-storage. The utility room, as the name implies, is the place where crew members store miscellaneous items. In one corner of the small carriage is a small bed for resting. It was what should have been a place of rest for crew members, but the person leaning on this bed was not a crew member but a man in a suit. His head rests against the head of the bed in a somewhat stiff, unnatural position. Dennis? Vince steps forward to check his breathing and pulse. With no obvious signs of trauma, we cannot make any judgment. It seems another sudden cardiac arrest. The exact cause of death cannot be determined unless specialized personnel and tests are available. Everyone gathered in the utility room, including the bystanders, fall silent at the same time. An eerie silence fills the narrow space. The eerie silence might have been fear. The man who, not long ago, had lovingly calmed his wife down now lies lifeless. There is no wind, but you can feel a chill from the bottom of your heart. My love, How did this happen? A crying female figure rushes into the utility room, almost lunging at Dennis. Luke stops her quickly, but he only barely stops her from lunging forward. How did this happen? We were fine just a moment ago, but now Susan's cries attract more bystanders, some of whom even pull out their mobile phones to take photos. Sorry, the situation is unclear, so please refrain from taking photos. Autumn stops anyone who wants to take a picture from entering the utility room while pointing at a crew member standing by in silence. Notify the conductor to secure the scene. Oh, okay. The crew member nods frantically and goes to get the conductor. What? With the crew member gone, the space blocking the utility room opened up somewhat. You suddenly see something red flapping about in a slightly hidden corner. Don't move, let me. Maris is standing the closest. Using a piece of paper, he picks up the strange object wedged in the gap between Danny's feet and the cupboard. A red poppy? Sitting in the palm of Mary's hand is a paper poppy with the same red petals of a real flower stretched outward. It matches the flower found in the dining carriage of the Mr. Constance. Another paper flower? Are they dangling this in front of us because they are afraid we won't catch on? At the very least, it serves as a warning, reminding us that someone is behind all this. It's a curse, the curse of death. Through her tears, Susan interrupts your conversation. A red poppy, the curse of death. It's the souls of the departed. They must have stolen my husband's life. She trembles nervously with a pale face as if she has seen a monster that's making her shudder. Susan, please, calm down. Will we die too? We're all going to die, in the cries of the dead, in the midst of the night. It is still daytime, so we should be safe for now. At least, ma'am, you need to rest. Vin uses his body to shield Susan's eyes from Danny's body on the bed and the red paper poppy in Mary's hand. His voice is steady and calm with a reassuring charm. Susan is still sobbing, but her voice has returned to a normal pitch, no longer hysterical. Susan, let me help you to rest off to the side. At that moment, Simon and other crew members also arrive to maintain order. While the crowd is being cleared, you help Susan out of the utility room. Dining car. The passengers who experience the same moment of terror again have the same numb expression on their faces. It's a human reaction in the wake of extreme anxiety. Upon seeing Susan enter with all of you, Yan Khan steps forward. His lips move, but no word come out. Perhaps he wanted to comfort the crying wife of mourning the loss of a loved one, but he wasn't in a position to say anything nice. Dr. Ronson, accompanied by Emmy, sits on a couch not far away, equally silent. He has finally straightened his coat. Vin suddenly whispers something in your ear. What? I remember Yan Khan kept pulling on his coat when we saw him earlier. But now he finally seems willing to free his hands from his coat. Indeed, Yan Khan is still standing in the same spot, but he seems much more relaxed than before. Maybe he's in a slightly better mood now? Perfect. We need to have a chat. A crew member leads Susan to the side to rest, and Arthur walks straight over to the two people. Yankon, Dr. Ronson. With everything that's happened, I think we should talk. Sure. Emmy, stay there. This has nothing to do with you. Dr. Ronson stands up and waves at Emmy, who is following behind. Emmy looks at Dr. Ronson with concern, then at all of you, wanting to see something but not daring to. Let's go over there. Yan Khan points at the area used for afternoon tea, which is away from the crowd, and leads everyone over. Dining car. In the corner far away from the rest of the passengers, Yan Khan and Dr. Ronson sits opposite everyone. From this angle, everyone is in almost the same position as in the luxury carriage. The only difference is that there are two people missing. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to ask about Dennis and Ernst? Not only that, I'm hoping you'll agree to let us formally investigate what happened on the train. But it's already clear that Dennis lost control of his temper, and Doctor, I understand if you have any company secrets you might not want to share. But this isn't something you can cover up anymore. 3 people have died. I found this in the utility room where Dennis died. Look familiar? Maris holds up the red poppy flower made of paper. The same flower was present at the scene where Mr. Khan died. How can this be? Yan Khan stares at the flower in Mary's hand, his pupils constricted. So far, there have been 3 deaths on this train, and each of them happened to involve someone from Khan Corporation. This isn't by coincidence, but by design. I hope the 2 of you will cooperate. After all, who knows what the mastermind behind this has left in store for us? After a few minutes of silence, Yan Khan resignedly shrugs his shoulders in acceptance. Okay, how do you plan to investigate? You look at everyone who faces you with encouraging and understanding smiles. It warms your heart as you step forward. First, I like to talk to some of the people who are currently involved in the case. Dr. Ronson, let's start with you. Dr. Ronson nods, still pale, no doubt shaken by the recent events. I will try to do my best to answer. We would like to know if there was a history between Mr. Dennis and Mr. Ernst. Dr. Ronson looks down, thinking for a moment, then he takes a few steps closer to you and looks while lowering his voice. Actually, they had another argument in the room before Mr. Khan's unexpected death. They argued about what to tell the other partners in Khan Corporation about Mr. Khan. Later, they had differing opinions on this project concerning Ginun Gagap Island. Have they always been at odds with each other? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Did you notice any strange behavior from Mr. Dennis or Mr. Ernst on the train? Let me think. No, except when Dennis suddenly, other than that, nothing unusual. Alright, that's all I can see. As Dr. Ronson's eyes wander, you and Luke look at each other in understanding. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you, Dr. Ronson. You're welcome. No one wanted this to happen. Yes, thank you, Dr. Ronson. Oh no, not only did my client die, but the partners who came with the client also died. Doesn't that mean I came here for nothing? Damn that horrid Caesar. If he hadn't refused to come, I would have. As you and Arthur approach, William Lewis is so absorbed in his worries and grievances that he fails to notice your arrival. After waiting for a few seconds with no response, Arthur taps him lightly on the shoulder. Mr. Lewis. You scared me. What? Don't tell me something happened again. No, we just want to ask you what happened in the dining carriage. Thank the heavens it isn't another accident. What happened in the dining carriage? Let me think. It could just be your imagination, but William Lewis feels a little easier to talk to. He breathes a sigh of relief and adjusts his hair. I just happened to be sitting next to them, a table away, so I could see exactly what was going on. At first, they were just eating normally, but I guess the conversation took a turn. Then he started interrogating Ernst in an angry tone. Before I knew it, he had pulled a dagger from his clothes and stabbed the man sitting opposite him. No, I don't want to recall those frightening memories. Are you sure he pulled the dagger from his clothes? Yes, of course. The whole situation was chaotic, but my mind was clear. Alright, I understand. We'll come find you if we have any other questions. Fine. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Doctor, could we talk to you now? At this moment, Yan Khan is sitting on a couch with a dejected look on his face, looking even gloomier than before. When he sees you and Vin approach, he manages to gather himself and sits up straight. Asawi, I'll try to cooperate to get the facts straight. Was there some irreconcilable conflict between Mr. Dennis and Mr. Ernst? Hearing Vin's question, there is a helpless look on Yan Khan's face. Sorry, if it's about that, I don't know the details. I'm only a member of the Khan family in name because I was adopted. I have no right to ask about a high-level confidential matters in the company. Andy, don't tell me anything. Really? But Mr. Khan didn't seem to be wary of Yan. All I can say is that it seemed to have beef with Ernst ever since they got on the train. They already had an argument in the room before the incident at the dining carriage. Of course, that's why I suggested to them that they come to eat to ease the tensions. Unexpectedly, instead of resolving the conflict between them, it had the opposite effect. At this point, Yan Khan's frown deepens. Do you know what they were arguing about during the time frame between the private room and the dining carriage? They were being vague, so I couldn't really follow. I guess it must have been about company matters. Thank you. We will check with the other passengers. Please, rest up. Okay, I understand. Honey, can we talk to you? Of course. Do you both want to ask about what happened in the dining carriage? Yeah, we want to know how Mr. Dennis and Mr. Ernst were behaving. Mr. Dennis and Mr. Ernst, I remember they were arguing and it got really bad. If I recall, Mr. Dennis said something like, if it wasn't for me, he would have gone public with it. I don't know who the he Dennis was referring to was. This. Emmy, shut up. Footsteps approach quickly, and Emmy's shoulder is struck by something hard. It's Dr. Ronson. Do you really have the free time to be spewing nonsense here? Get back to sorting the data. Yes, Dr. Ronson. At the sight of Dr. Ronson, Emmy becomes submissive again. He nods at you apologetically and shrinks back. This scene feels familiar. Dr. Ronson turns to look at everyone. Emmy doesn't know anything, so forget about it, what he said just now. Sure, Doctor, we'll do just that. After investigating the carriage, everyone finds a quiet corner to discuss the current clues. Dr. Ronson's behavior is odd. After Remy told us what Mr. Dennis said, he suddenly came over and told Amy to shut up. He even told Sharara and me to forget whatever Amy said. It seems he is concerned about our investigation and what everyone is seeing. Yes, from my conversation with Dr. Ronson, I could tell that he was withholding information from us. There seems to be something very important that he does not want us to know. Remember what Danny said, if it wasn't for me, he would have gone public with it. Does Dr. Ronson know who and what he and it are referring to? It's possible My love. Just then, a cry filled with sadness and sorrow interrupts the discussion before it can proceed any further. Following the cry, you spot Susan in tears standing beside a crew member trying to console her to no avail. Susan? Anyone who experiences this kind of thing? For Susan, she will not be comforted unless she finds out the truth. As much as it pains me to do so, I think we need to talk to Mr. Susan about Mr. Dennis. I agree. Dining car. Oh, why did this happen to me? My love, how can I live on without you? Susan leans on a chair, tears falling down her face. There are many things you can see to comfort Susan, but you find yourself unable to see anything. No matter how much empathy you have as a bystander, there is no way to empathize with the grief she feels. You can only stand there and gently pat her on the back. I don't have the courage to face this anymore. You did this to me. It's my... Perhaps the pain will eventually reach its limit. When that happens, people often lose the ability to express pain. Susan chokes back her tears, her expression down. I regret giving him that exorcism dagger. Oh, my love, he would have been fine. The dagger was yours? Yes. I didn't know this was going to happen. Otherwise, I would never have given it to him. Susan, if you're feeling better, may we ask you some question? Also, wait, but it has already come to this. Oh, what else can I see? May I ask why you gave a dagger to Mr. Dennis? That's an exorcism dagger. In Bakerlon, we believe that a silver dagger can exorcise demons. I I saw something frightening in the fog that night. I have never been more terrified. For some reason, Dennis was in a terrible mood that day. I thought the demons have taken control of him and influenced him. That's why I gave Dennis the dagger, hoping that it could protect him. Who knew? Who knew that the dagger would become a murder weapon? You guys have to believe me, my husband has always been a gentleman. Even if he and Ernest had their differences, he would never resort to violence. He was a good man. He and Ernest had their differences. Mr. Dennis and Mr. Ernst had a disagreement. I'm not sure about the details. It's okay, just tell us what you know. About a year ago, Dennis returned from his usual meeting at Khan Corporation and had more to drink than usual. He said something strange at the time. I was the one who discovered it, so why does Ernst get the credit? He stole it from me. I discovered it. So, what did Mr. Ernst steal from him? I'm not sure. When Dennis sobered up, I asked him about what happened. But he dodged the question and said it was a minor business conflict but refused to elaborate. I thought he was fine, but after we boarded the train, he talked to Ernst in the corridor. And that's when he started behaving strangely again. Yeah, I remember when we first saw you, you were looking for Dennis. Is that when you noticed something wrong with his mood? Yes, he was behaving the same as that day when he was drunk. Frustrated, upset, and not saying anything to me. Why wasn't he willing to say anything to me? He was just drinking alone. What's up with that? I'm his wife. Why didn't he say anything? If I may, did Mr. Dennis have a habit of drinking? You could see that. He wasn't much of a drinker when we got married. That only started about a year ago. He gradually developed a habit of drinking whenever he was upset. I told him to quit several times, but that fell on deaf ears. It sounds like Mr. Dennis was nervous about something, right, Vin? That is a possibility. Susan, did your husband ever consult a therapist about his emotional problems? No, I tried to persuade him to talk to a therapist, or at least eat food or take medicine that would stabilize his mood. But he didn't believe in those things and insisted that he was healthy. Did I not pay enough attention to him? If I did, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Susan is about to burst into tears again, and you barely manage to calm her down. But there is no doubt that the conversation cannot continue. Accompanied by a crew member, Susan goes to rest in a carriage without many people. Everyone sits in a corner of the dining carriage and continues to discuss the gathered clues. According to Susan, she seems to think that Dennis had a problem with Ernst, which makes it possible that he would lose his temper and hurt someone. Losing his temper is one possibility. However, Mr. Susan also said that Dennis was usually a gentle person. What is the probability that a typical cautious, gentle person suddenly has a violent outburst? Are you implying that he was affected by drugs? We cannot rule out the possibility. The best way to confirm the use of drugs is through blood analysis. I couldn't find an opportunity to do it because the utility room was crowded. Otherwise, we would know the result by now. It's not too late. Why don't we make it clear that we need to examine the victims' bodies? Yan Khan is the family doctor. We can have him accompany us for the examination as a witness, right? Yeah, I agree. Let's go ask him. You want me to cooperate with you in the examination of Mr. Khan and Mr. Dennis' bodies? After informing Yan Khan of the investigation thus far, he doesn't raise much objection to the points of suspicion in the clues but rather freezes up upon your request. This, I'm not qualified to make the decision. Without being able to contact the company, I understand your concern, but if we don't hurry, we might lose out on important clues. Surely the people in charge of your company would like to know who was behind the attack on Khan Corporation? The attack? There is a slight change in Yan Khan's expression, as if he is shaken by the mention of an attack. Will you let this clue slip by, or gamble to find the truth and trust that you'll be right? Yan Khan looks at everyone, then at Ronson, who stands quietly beside him before nodding in agreement. Alright, I will accompany you to the examination. But Dr. Ronson isn't feeling well, so let him rest in the dining carriage. Of course. Also, the conditions on the train are limited, and I'm not a professional medical examiner. I can't promise what we will find. I understand. Several days have passed since Mark Khan's death. His body was placed in an empty carriage away from the passengers by Khan Corporation. Instead of heading over, everyone chooses to examine the bodies of Ernst and Dennis first. But to be sure, Luke and Yan have been in there for half an hour. I wonder what they found. The train isn't equipped with any professional tools, and even if Luke has his own devices, I doubt they can find anything. It should be over soon. Artem is much calmer than you and Marius. If our speculation is correct, then his body will have what we were looking for. Another 15 minutes go by and a rustle sounds from the room. Vin, Luke, and Yan Khan comes out. How did it go? According to preliminary examination, there are no visible wounds on Ernst's body other than those on his abdomen. His cause of death was hemorrhagic shock from being stabbed in the abdomen. Yan Khan sees nothing, but Luke nods slightly at you. I ran his blood, nothing unusual. We can basically rule out drugging or poisoning. So Mr. Ernst was stabbed by Mr. Dennis and bled to death. What about Dennis? What did you find? There are no visible wounds on Mr. Dennis' body, but I did find abnormalities in his blood. Luke starts showing the modified device to everyone. His device is attached to a modified electronic screen that allows him to read the test data. It's phenobarbital. It's a type of sedative with hypnotic effects, primarily used to treat anxiety, insomnia, epilepsy, and other symptoms. Mr. Dennis had a habit of drinking. Did he drink a lot of red wine during the meal? As Luke sees that, Finn's eyes are clearly fixed on Yan Khan. Yan Khan's lips twitch unnaturally and he nods. Yes, he drank a lot. Ethanol amplifies the central nervous inhibitory effect of phenobarbital, which may cause the cardiac arrest and respiratory depression in severe cases, and he was arguing with Ernst, which made his symptoms worse. I speculate that is what ultimately killed Mr. Dennis. A drug that treats anxiety. But I remember Mr. Susan said Mr. Dennis didn't normally take medication. Or perhaps he kept it from his wife. It's possibility. But if a person takes medication under a doctor's order, they would know not to drink alcohol, right? For some medication, the doctor would certainly inform you not to drink alcohol. Yes, even if he didn't tell his wife that he was taking medication, he would have shown more restraint when drinking. So, we can't rule out the possibility that someone deliberately drugged him. Artem glances at young Khan, who doesn't answer Artem. For a moment, his face was emotionless. At this moment, a faint rustle comes from outside the carriage. It seems some nosy passengers have taken notice of your extended stay in the carriage and are attempting to peek inside. It's time to go. Yeah, I want to check the dining carriage for anything that might have been left behind. If he was poisoned, we should have it tested immediately. Any later, then the food might go bad and a crew member might clean it up, which would make it difficult to test. Sure, we can check the dining carriage, then examine Mr. Khan's body. Agreed. I trust Rara's judgment. You would not object to new discoveries after the examination, correct, Yan? Yan Khan's only nods after being called out. Of course not. I want to know more than anyone who's behind the attack against Khan's corporation. Thus, everyone leaves the carriage and heads over to the crime scene in the dining carriage amidst the watchful gazes and whispers of the other passengers. Sarah put on a pair of gloves and grabbed a clean wine glass. Sure. Following Luke's instructions, you pour some wine into a glass and leave it on the table. Luke inspected it for a while before taking out a small device from his pocket and putting it in the glass. Is that a new device? It looks similar to the one before. Yeah, it's based on the model we just used. It's very convenient. After setting the substances to detect, you immerse it in the liquid. That's all you need to know to do. Great, it's perfect for this situation. Shortly after, the device makes a sound which prompts Luke to look at the device. He frowns. Strange, there's nothing. Nothing? Mr. Dennis' fingerprint on this glass proof he used it. But no drugs were detected in the wine glass. There is no doubt that the steps to reach the inference were correct. Nevertheless, attempts to verify that inference has been met with obstacles. You clench your fist helplessly. How could that be? Don't worry, I've recorded the test data. We can review it once we get back to the room. Looking at the abandoned food on the table and floor, you can't help but wonder. Besides the wine, could there be a problem with the food Mr. Dennis ate? Maybe I should ask Luke to test it. Just as you're about to call Luke over, Marius comes over. What's going on? Do you need help? Yeah, I suspect there might be a problem with the food Mr. Dennis eats, so I want Luke to test it. What a coincidence! I thought the same thing, so I borrowed the device from Luke. They're still busy, so leave it to me. Sure. Marius follows the method that Luke outlined and tests all the food. The results are out. No drugs were found. Well, at least we can rule out the possibility that the food was drugged. Yeah, let's go look for other possibilities. Sure. Standing at the table and looking at the whole crime scene, a new thought suddenly comes to mind. Sure, what's on your mind? Did you find something special? No, I was just thinking. Although the crime scene was secured, everything was chaotic during the murder. There is still some time before the train reaches the destination, during which passengers will come and go in the dining carriage. As a result, whether intentionally or not, the crime scene is likely to be contaminated. Shouldn't we start by taking photos of the crime scene, thereby preserving the important details? Sure, we can hand them over to the police as evidence so they can investigate. I'll be responsible for the photo then. Dr. Richter, Mr. Wing, please tell the others not to pass through here for now. Sure, of course. Photos of the scene. Photographic evidence of the scene after the accident in the dining car. In it, there are messy plates, taped wine glasses, and clothes stained with wine that seems to indicate the accident was sudden and violent. After surveying the scene, everyone meets up to go over all the clues. There were no problems with the wine or food. So, where did the phenobarbital in Danny's system come from? This question leaves everyone in silence. A few minutes later, Vin is the first to break the awkward silence. Perhaps we are neglecting something. Yeah, we need to calm down and sort through the clues. Before that, should we not place the last piece of the puzzle? Vin adjusts his glasses and mouth mark. Alright, the examination of Mr. Khan's body might provide us with more clues. Do you have a new theory? Yes, but it needs to be verified. Well, what are we waiting for then? Let's go! Leaving the dining carriage, you notice Yan Khan standing in the corridor not far away. All done? Did you find anything? We didn't find anything unusual in the food left at the crime scene. I don't believe it has any more clues. However, we see photos of the crime scene as well as the test data. Hopefully, they will be helpful to the police investigation. Yan Khan does not respond, seemingly accustomed to staring in silence. The natural light casts a long dark shadow behind him along the floor of the dining carriage in an untraceable direction. It makes you feel weird and uncomfortable, just like the shadow's owner. So, nothing definite yet. That is not accurate to say. I believe Mr. Khan will provide us with answers. Please take us to the special carriage where Mr. Khan's body is being kept. Is that necessary? Yes, gathering more information will help us see the whole picture. Yan Khan bites his lower lip, subconsciously averting his eyes. Fine, come with me. With that, he walks along the left side of the corridor without waiting for all of you. He seems to be running away. Yeah. Indeed, he seemed to shirk the mention of examining Mr. Khan's body. With the way things are, it may have caused a bigger public outcry if he refused. Running away is shameful, but not necessarily helpful. Let's go, he will eventually have to face it. You thought you would have to wait in the waiting area for the results, just like the last time. However, after 15 minutes, Luke hurries out and calls everyone inside. There is an inexplicable chill in the air when you walk into the room. It seems Khan Corporation used a special refrigeration unit to preserve Mr. Khan's body. What happened? I found something special. Luke points to the bed. The body on the bed has been covered completely with a white sheet with only part of the left foot visible. Hold on. Yan Khan makes a subconscious step forward trying to stop all of you. But he soon realizes how futile his actions are and stops with an expression on his face that says forget it. Ejection points. Yes, there are tiny and distinct injection points on the dorsalis pedis vein, left behind after an injection into the vein. The injection points are so tiny that they would have disappeared in a short time on a normal skin. Death takes away some things, but it also leaves behind evidence. After blood clots, the pale skin makes the injection points look conspicuous. Look, can we still test this system for drugs? It's hard. I thought I could try, but the device I've prepared is still lacking. Given the condition of Mark's body, it will be difficult to draw blood. We will have to wait for a professional to carry out a detailed examination. So, nothing conclusive again. Not entirely so. At least we know for sure that someone did something to Mr. Khan. His abnormal behavior prior to his death was not entirely caused by his intoxication. Any doctor who has read a few pharmaceutical books could come out with a list of hallucinogenic drugs. Am I right, Yan Khan? Vince's tone is somewhat gentle, but that doesn't stop Yan Khan from looking uneasy. You're right, which is why I didn't want you examining Mark's body. Why not? Afraid of being suspected? Faced with Artem's question, Yan Khan's face is filled with embarrassment and confusion. Oh my god, can you be more obvious? That question proves that you, all of you, think of me as a suspect. You are mistaken. We're not suspicious of only you, but anyone worthy of suspicion. We just want to get to the bottom of it, that's all. Yan Khan smells bitterly. Before Mr. Khan was murdered, did anything special happen? Special? What do you mean? Did anything strange happen to him, for example, or was there a change that caught your attention? Since I got on the train, nothing in particular changed except Mark's sudden tantrums. As for anything strange, something does come to mind. Something comes to mind. When I was sorting through my medicine cabinet, I noticed that Mark was missing 2 boxes of decocing tape. High blood pressure runs in the Khan family, and Mark was no exception. Several years ago, he started experiencing symptoms of chronic heart failure due to hypertension. He had been taking digoxin for a long time. So he was on a medication regimen. Yes, Mark had been taking digoxin tablets for a long time, so he kept boxes of it in his medicine cabinet. So when I first found out 2 boxes were missing, I thought I just forget them at home. But after Mark's death, it occurred to me, could someone have stolen the missing tablets? After all, After all, a drug like nicotine with cardiac glycoside compounds is known to be toxic. It, if taken in large doses, symptoms of poisoning can occur. You must have noticed something unusual about Marx in the dining carriage that night. However, you choose to hide the fact that to avoid implicating yourself. Yeah, I have to protect myself first. Isn't that natural? Vince's words seems to trigger something in Yan Khan, whose eyes start switching. I'm an abandoned orphan adopted from an orphanage by the Khan family. That being said, I'm really just Mark's personal butler and the family doctor. After what happened, I had to think of saving myself. Has it occurred to you that this is precisely why the mastermind made sure the clues pointed to you, making you the scapegoat? Perhaps it is in your best interest to cooperate with us to find out the truth as soon as possible. Ignoring Yan Khan, who stands there in silence, everyone leaves the carriage after the examination. You stand in the corridor with the sun shining in. Yet, for some reason, you feel a slight chill in your heart. How reliable do you think his story is? Somewhat. After all, his argument sounds false, but it makes sense. The only thing we know for certain is that there's someone on this train pulling the strings. This matter is getting more complicated. The human mind is a treacherous ocean in a world too complicated to fathom. Despite being under the sun, you feel as if you're walking in the night fog, unable to see the direction forward. But something feels off. Yeah, there was something off about his whole demeanor. What's on your mind? I just think what Yan Khan said was done deliberately. A person's behavior can be covered by seemingly normal logic, but his emotional state and the tone of his voice cannot be fake. His tone and expression were abnormal, which means he was not telling us the truth. Well, at least he gave us some clues to work with. But that alone is not evidence enough to warrant further investigation. Yeah, it still feels like we're missing crucial information. Speaking of which, I remember something that doesn't feel right to me. Yan Khan's reasoning. He was worried that when the injection points on Mark's feet were discovered, people would point the finger at him, so he chose to hide it. But who else besides the people around him could have injected a drug into Mark's vein undetected and with ease? It's hard to come up with another person on this train other than Yan Khan. If I had to see it, someone who came in contact with Mark or anyone who even got clues to Mark is a suspect. Currently, the biggest suspect is Yan Khan. Actually, I have another question. If we're working on the theory that Mark's cause of death was the gossin poisoning, then what's with the injection points on the back of his foot? Could someone have injected him with more drugs as insurance just in case he didn't die? Yes, that might be a possibility. Drugs such as digoxin, which are normally used to treat conditions, require large doses at once to reach lethal levels. It is near impossible to get the victim to ingest a lot of tablets, so I believe the killer could have added a combination of drugs, pushing the concentration of drugs into victims' blood to a toxic dose. Quinidine, for example, has that effect. A lethal combination of drugs. That is certainly worthy of investigating. There's also Dennis. We need to figure out how the killer got him to take phenobarbital. These are the questions that require answers. Well, with so many people on this train, it won't be easy to check. Before Maris can finish his thoughts, a faint sound leaks out from the utility room. Systemic. Didn't I already? That voice, Dr. Ronson. You exchange a quick look with the rest of the group and everyone nods. Of the storage. Why did she appear? It's too evil. Too evil. That damn woman, making things difficult for us even after disappearing. In the utility room, Ronson mutters restlessly as Amy stands beside him, still looking nervous. Dr. Ronson, I think you're exhausted, so... What do you know? I can't be wrong. It must be her. Maybe she's back. Ronson stops abruptly in the middle of his sentence as if he had just remembered something. Anyway, keep that to yourself, got it? Otherwise... Oh, but... No, but Sorrel's... Sorry, we already heard it. What? Ronson pauses for a moment and only then does he see you and others standing at the entrance. He frowns while adjusting his clothes, pretending to act normal. Weren't you resting in the dining carriage, Dr. Ronson? What are you doing here? Are you also here to help the investigation? No, I just remembered something about work and wanted a quiet place to instruct Emmy. The train ride is long and boring. Proper communication helps activate brain cells. And that brought you to the place where Dennis died. What a coincidence, Doctor. I can't waste time talking to you. I still have data to analyze. Let's go, Amy. Ronson completely ignores you and the others and heads to the door. Sorry, we still have questions for Amy, Dr. Ronson. We hope you understand. Ronson does not answer, but the tight corners of his mouth betray his feelings. Sure, I'll cooperate with the investigation. Hearing Amy see that, Ronson snorts coldly. Amy, remember to come back early. You have a lot of work to do. Oh, and don't forget, as a scientist, confidentiality is an essential professional quality. Ronson leaves the utility room without looking back or waiting for Amy to respond. Love storage. My apologies. Please don't mind Dr. Ronson. He's been a little upset. We didn't see anything. You, on the other hand... What happened just now? Amy hesitates, not responding immediately. Worried about a breach of confidence? I can assure you, anything you say will not be revealed to a third party. Yeah, confidentiality is a professional requirement for attorneys. I am a psychiatrist and confidentiality is part of the job description. I'm the same, except I'm a detective, but I've always had a good reputation. As for that man... Huh? What are you guys talking about? Why can't I hear anything? I have a feeling that I probably won't hear anything for a while. Perhaps amused by everyone's reassurance, Amy visibly relaxed. Just as Dr. Ronson said, he saw a transparent shadow in the place where Dennis died. It was the shadow of a woman. A female shadow? Is it the shadow that appeared in the night mist before? I'm not sure. Amy scratches his head in frustration. To be honest, I accompanied Dr. Ronson into the utility room, but I didn't see anything. Dr. Ronson insisted that he saw someone in the corner, someone that he knew in the past. Then he asked if I saw anything. I wondered if he was overly anxious due to what happened today. Someone that he knew, a female shadow of someone he knew. Did Dr. Ronson say who the shadow was? Yeah, I think he said it was Hill. Yeah, Hill. Hill, that name again. Hill again? Do you guys know her? No, we've heard that name from other people. She used to be a researcher for Khan Corporation, right? Yes, Dr. Hill worked at the same research institute as us. Dr. Ronson worked with her for a brief time completing research for a complicated project. Hill worked with Dr. Ronson? Yeah, if I recall correctly, I think it was the magnetic field of ore and its effect on biological genes or something. At the time, I had only joined the research institute and didn't know anything, so I didn't have any contact with them. Later, Emmy hesitates for a moment, biting his lips. Later, when I qualified to help in the research group, Dr. Hill was gone. What does that mean? Dr. Ronson said he left the research institute and went abroad for further study. What's strange is Dr. Hill left so abruptly without saying a word, so it seems to me as if she had disappeared into thin air. So Dr. Ronson told you that he left Khan Corporation on her own accord? Yeah, that's right. That makes things even stranger. Why would Dr. Ronson be afraid of seeing a colleague who left the company? That I don't know. Dr. Ronson rarely talks about the past in front of the assistants, especially about Dr. Hill, including all her research data. It was never mentioned again. Even the research results? But Amy smacks his head as if recalling something. I heard Dr. Ronson and Mr. Yan Khan mention Dr. Hill when they met up earlier. Do you remember what they said? Sorry, after her name came out, they kicked me out of the carriage, so I didn't hear their conversation. Miss Schneider also said Hill disappeared mysteriously. Moreover, Dr. Ronson and Khan Corporation keep a tight lid on anything related to Miss Hill. The clues match up, but the so-called disappearance. After all, disappearance is not a good word. Not only does it mean that her whereabouts is unknown, it can also sometimes mean death. I hope that I'm overthinking it. Everyone, it's getting late. I need to get back if you don't have any more questions for me. Dr. Ronson has been a little grumpy lately. If I keep him waiting for too long, I might get scolded again. Okay, thank you. Sorry, if I may ask, has Dr. Ronson always been this grumpy? No, he was always nice to me and the other assistants. But lately, he's been grumpy for some reason. The pressure of the research project might be getting to him, plus everything that's happened. I see. Amy nods politely to everyone, then leaves quickly. Everyone, let's return to our room. Although Amy didn't see much, there were bits and pieces of information in what he said. Well, it's time to sort out our clues. Everyone, let's begin. Perhaps to keep the mood from getting too heavy, upon entering the room, Marius folds his arms and leans against the table with his trademark smile. Now, let's begin with Marius. I believe the three tests on the Mobius are related. Hey, don't get in line. Vin glanced at him, ignoring him. These two. But this brief interaction seems to ease the tense atmosphere for Luke, Artem, and Luke. After Mark and Dennis were killed, a red paper puppy was placed beside their bodies. That suggests that someone wants us to link the two events together. As for us, I'm not certain his death was part of the mastermind's plan. The only connection so far is that he was from Khan Corporation, so I think Dr. Richter has the right idea. We can investigate the three murders as one. Moreover, I think they might be connected to the subject of my investigation, Sheila Hill. Let me think. Mark clearly yelled out Hill before he died. Dr. Ronson also claimed to have seen Hill's shadow in the utility room where Dennis died. And then there's Dennis. According to Susan, Dennis got into an argument with Ernst a year ago, which was when he started drinking. And Hill also disappeared from Khan Corporation's research lab a year ago. Do you think any of this? Although it is unclear whether his change in behavior had anything to do with Miss Hill, both appear to be an odd coincidence, so we can't rule out the possibility. Hill has become an unavoidable topic. It feels like the woman's disappearance is at the center of this mystery. But how did she disappear and why? I cannot understand why my client wants me to board this train. Perhaps the mysterious client wanted me to investigate this matter. Perhaps, after all, when the stage is set, there must be an audience, no? Are you sure I'm here to help and not to crash the party? You seem to catch on to keywords in their discussion. Hill shadow. Everyone. I think we've also seen Hill's shadow. When was that? Just earlier in the exhibition room, don't you remember? That over there. What is that? When you ask that question, your mouth feels stiff. A person? No, not a person. It's a shadow. Or rather, the shadow of a woman. Are you saying that figure back then was Hill's shadow that Dr. Ronson saw? Yeah, didn't you guys find that shadow odd? She felt completely different from the ghost that drifted in the night fog, almost like she was a separate entity, even to the point that I felt like she was something real. I feel the same way. The shadow also appeared at night, but was quite different from those phenomena caused by the strange changes in the magnetic field. She seemed more like a living person with emotions to me. A living shadow? This is getting weirder and weirder. Is it possible that someone is playing a trick on us? We may find out if we get the chance to see it again. Yes. A life that was once vibrant disappears before your eyes without warning, leaving behind a constant stream of confusion. 3. Shadows hidden in the mist are terrifying. And it's as if a hidden spider is spinning an invisible web, turning the whole screen into a prison. I think whether it's a paranormal phenomenon or a human, since it exists, it may appear once more. Then we just have to wait, maybe until nighttime. Everything will be unveiled then. Herrera, look out the window. You look out the window at Arthur's behest. Twilight is closing in, and night is just around the corner.